The buzz of her phone sliced through the quiet hum of the cafe like a knife. I glanced up from my coffee, the steam curling into the air, and saw her fingers freeze mid-tap. Her eyes darted to me, then back to the screen, a flicker of something gilt shadowing her face. We were thigh to thigh on the worn leather bench, close enough that I could smell the jasmine in her perfume, yet the air between us felt heavy, like a storm about to break. She angled her phone away, a subtle tilt, but not subtle enough. The words on her screen burned into my peripheral vision. At least he'll pay for the baby, even if the sentence cut off, but my heart lurched, a sickening thud against my ribs. I pretended not to see, stirring my coffee, the spoon clinking too loudly against the ceramic. We'd been together 3 years, Mia and me. 3 years of late-night talks, shared playlists, and her laughter filling the cracks in my quiet life. I proposed last month, the ring still new on her finger, catching the cafe's dim light as she typed. Her secrecy wasn't new. Small things, like hushed calls she'd take in the bathroom or the way she closed her laptop when I entered the room. I'd chalked it up to her being private, maybe planning a surprise. But that text, it wasn't a surprise. It was a grenade. The cafe bustled around us. Clinking cups, the hiss of the espresso machine, a barista calling out caramel latte. But it all faded to a dull roar. My mind spun, replaying the words. Baby. Whose baby? Why would I pay for it? My fingers tightened around the mug, the heat searing my palm, grounding me as I fought the urge to snatch her phone. Instead, I forced a smile. Everything okay? I asked, my voice steady despite the tremor in my chest. She flinched, barely noticeable, and tucked her phone into her purse. Yeah, just Sarah being dramatic, she said, her laugh thin, like glass about to crack. She reached for my hand, her touch warm but unfamiliar, like holding a stranger's. You know how she is. I nodded, swallowing the bile rising in my throat. Sarah, her best friend, always had some crisis, boyfriend troubles, work drama. But this wasn't Sarah's mess. This was Mia's, or ours, or mine. I didn't know yet. The uncertainty clawed at me, 1,000 questions screaming in my head. Was she pregnant? Was it mine? Someone else's? The word baby echoed, each repetition tightening the knot in my gut. We left the cafe, stepping into the city's evening chill. The streetlights cast long shadows, and Mia's boots clicked on the pavement, out of sync with my heavier steps. I watched her from the corner of my eye, her auburn hair catching the light, her lips pressed tight, like she was holding something in. I wanted to ask, to demand answers, but fear glued my tongue. What if I was wrong? What if I was paranoid, seeing betrayal where there was none? But that text, I couldn't unsee it. At home, our apartment felt different, like the walls were watching. The couch where we'd binge shows, the kitchen counter where we danced to old jazz records, all felt tainted, like a set for a play I no longer understood. Mia kicked off her shoes and headed to the bedroom, muttering about a headache. I lingered in the living room, the silence pressing against my ears. Her purse sat on the coffee table, the phone inside it a ticking bomb. I wasn't that guy. I didn't snoop, but my hands moved before my brain caught up, unzipping the purse, fishing out the phone. Her passcode, our anniversary, 0712, unlocked it easily. My heart pounded as I opened her text. The message to Sarah was still there, unfinished. At least he'll pay for the baby, even if he doesn't know it's not his. The words hit like a punch, stealing my breath. I scrolled up, my hand shaking. More text, fragment of secret life. He's so sweet, but I can't leave Ethan. Ethan, her ex, the one she swore was ancient history. The room spun. I sank onto the couch, the phone heavy in my hand. Mia, my Mia, was carrying another man's child. And I was the fool who'd pay for it, blissfully ignorant. Anger surged, hot and sharp, but beneath it, a deeper ache, love, twisted and bruised, but still there. I wanted to hate her, to storm into bedroom and scream, but part of me clung to the life we'd built, the version of her I'd loved. Was it all a lie? Footsteps. I shoved the phone back into her purse just as she appeared, rubbing her temples. "You okay, babe?" she asked, her voice soft, concerned. The lie in her eyes was so convincing I almost believed it. Almost. Yeah, I lied back, my voice a stranger's. Just tired. That night, I lay beside her, her breathing steady while my mind churned. Every memory was suspect now. Her late nights at work, the girls' trips with Sarah, the way she pulled away when I kissed her too long. How had I missed it? Or had I known, deep down, and chosen to ignore it? Denial was easier than this gut-wrenching clarity that the woman I loved had betrayed me in the worst way. The next morning, I called in sick and drove to the park where we'd had our first date. The bench was still there, weathered but sturdy, overlooking a pond where ducks glided in lazy circles. I sat, replaying everything, searching for a way out that didn't end in ruin. Confront her? Leave quietly? Pretend I didn't know? Each option felt like a betrayal of myself. I loved her. God help me, but trust was gone, shattered like glass underfoot. My phone buzzed. A text from Mia. Miss you already. Dinner tonight? The normalcy of it stung, a cruel reminder of what I'd lost. Not just her, but the future I'd imagined. I typed a reply, deleted it, typed again. I couldn't keep pretending. But I couldn't face her yet, either. I drove to Ethan's apartment instead. I'd never met him, but I knew where he lived from stories Mia used to tell back when she was over him. The building was run down, graffiti scrawled on the walls. I sat in my car, watching the entrance, my hands gripping the steering wheel. What was I even doing? Begging for answers? Revenge? Then I saw him, tall, unshaven, lighting a cigarette as he stepped outside. My stomach twisted. This was the man she'd chosen over me. Before I could stop myself, I was out of the car, striding toward him. Ethan, I said, my voice low, trembling with rage. He looked up, confused, then wary. You know Mia's pregnant, right? His cigarette froze halfway to his mouth. His eyes widened and narrowed, and in that moment I saw it, shock, not guilt. Pregnant? He echoed, his voice hoarse. I haven't seen her in months. The world tilted. If Ethan didn't know, then whose baby was it? I stumbled back, my anger dissolving into a new kind of dread. Mia's betrayal wasn't just with Ethan. There was someone else, someone I didn't even know. The realization hit like a second blow, deeper, more disorienting. I'd been chasing the wrong ghost. Back home, Mia was waiting, her smile faltering when she saw my face. Where were you? She asked, her voice small, like she already knew the answer. I held up her phone, still in my hand from last night. Who's the father, Mia? My voice broke, raw with everything I'd held in love, rage, grief. Her face crumpled, and for the first time, I saw her without the mask. No excuses, no lies, just a woman caught, broken, and maybe sorry, but it wasn't enough. Not anymore.